All right, you're live.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Chair. Sorry. Thank you, Chair Bernowski. We're ready to start now.
So welcome to the Scottsdale Airport Advisory Commission on November 18th, 2020. And we'll begin by calling to order. And we'll do the pledge allegiance.
Larry, could you speak loudly, please?
Sure. We want to stand for the pledge? Roll call. Call order. Roll call.
Okay.
Carmen.
I'll take care of that. Commission Chair Larry Bernowski.
Present.
Commission Vice Chair John Berry.
Present.
Commissioner Corey Little.
Present.
Commissioner Liz Kaplan is absent. Commissioner Charles McDermott.
Present.
Commissioner Peter Meyer.
Here.
Commissioner Rick Milburn.
Here. Well, and aviation report by Mr. Scarrow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. Welcome to a little bit of a face-to-face meeting. It's been quite a while. Good to have you all here, especially our new commissioners. Welcome again. I mean, we introduced ourselves last month via telephone, but this is a good opportunity to see face-to-face. Just wanted to touch base very briefly on operations lately. Scottsdale Airport has been extremely busy, which is very unique in the aviation industry, as we all know. We're all watching. Extremely busy. I don't know why. I've talked to the FBO operators. They just said people are just coming to the city in droves.
Big guests from Michigan and from
Canada,
Minnesota, Wisconsin, shutdowns.
So it's been great. The FBOs are literally last Saturday ran out of space. The apron looked like almost a Super Bowl caliber, and they're expecting a whole lot more this upcoming week for the Thanksgiving week. Signature Flight Support, I believe, is going to implement possibly a prior permission request just to get a baseline of how many aircraft are coming. We're working with all of the FBO operators to make sure they share that common use apron that's out in front of you guys equally, so we can accommodate each and every single customer that wants to come to Scottsdale. So very excited about that. Things are going very well for the airport from that perspective. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Showing in the finances. Okay, let's see, we got minutes. We want to review the minutes and a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve the October 21st minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? So passed.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Even though we're face-to-face, we still do
Yeah.
individual hotel.
Commission Chair Larry Bernowski.
Excuse me, this is the reporter. Can I interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
The volume is not good at all. I can barely hear y'all.
Okay, we'll attempt to speak up as loud as possible.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Commission Chair Larry Bernowski.
Yes.
Commissioner Charles McDermott.
Yes.
Commissioner Peter Meyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Rick Milburn.
Yes.
Okay, the tally would be 6 votes to none.
Thank you, Carmen. So we'll move on to the regular agenda. And the first one, and maybe there's a little bit of a change, and maybe it can be explained, is discussion of possible action to recommend adoption of resolution number 12002, authorizing first amendments for lease agreements with STL Arizona Holdings LLC, doing business as Ross Aviation, and Brown Community Management Inc., an Arizona for-profit corporation, for the lease of general aviation box hangar space at Scottsdale Airport. Staff contacted Carmen Williams.
Thank you, Chair Bernowski and Commissioners. So item 1 is recommending adoption of resolution 12002. It has been amended, so originally it was authorizing 2 lease amendments and 1 new lease agreement. So the new lease agreement has been taken off the agenda, and in the packet is the updated resolution that will be going to the City Council.
we've lost the audio of the room.
Okay, so as you know, the construction is nearing completion on the phase one of the first set of 7 box hangers on the kilo aprons. We have the 2 amendments going forth tonight are for existing leases that we've already gone through the approval process. They need the approval of the Airport Advisory Commission and the City Council. That's why it's on the agenda tonight. This past month, we had 2 units that were pre-leased open back up again. They done a termination of those agreements. And so we've got one of these vacancies would be taken over by Scottsdale. We'd be holding, so Rock Aviation basically taking one of the vacancies. The other amendment is relocating, so one of the units from A5 to A7. So nothing else has changed, just relocating one of them. The other vacant unit is pending a new lease at this time. When they've agreed upon the terms, that will be a future agreement coming to you probably in January or February. So that kind of summarizes what the 2 changes are for tonight.
These are the 14 new ones.
Yeah, so these 2 amendments are dealing with the phase 1, those first 7 that will be wrapped up next month. Are there any questions about the 2 amendments?
No, these are recommended by you guys, they're fine.
Yes, that's correct. Minor changes. And we're happy that Rock Aviation wants to take one of the vacancies.
Okay, good.
Any other questions? Yes.
I just had a comment. I noticed that I realized that the phase 1 leases were negotiated a year and a half ago or so. But since the phase 2 leases are considerably more dollars per month than what's been done in phase 1. This new lease with Ross still gives them a competitive edge on that particular hangar, and also they have the mezzanine in those hangars, which will be more desirable than the non-mezzanine hangars. I just think that it's appropriate to mention the fact that I don't think this commission would ever have any intention of doing this, but we want to make sure that we're not giving any favoritism when we negotiate these leases. The new one for Ross, for instance, and I'm fine with modifying the agreement, but, they're committing for 24 months at a lesser price than their competitor committed for 7 hangars for 72 months. So I just think that we need to always keep that in mind, that we're tarring everyone with the same feather. Okay?
Any other questions, comments? So as we put it to need a motion for agenda item 1.
I'll move that we accept the proposal for modification under resolution number 12002.
Second?
Moved and second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Commissioner Chair Bernowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Corey Little,
Yes.
Commissioner Charles McDermott,
Yes.
Commissioner Peter Meyer.
Yes.
Vote is 6-0.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Tiffany. Really quickly, I'd just like to ask if you would state your name when you're speaking so we know who's making the motion and who's commenting. Thank you.
I'm going to give the first and second comment.
Tiffany, the first would be Commissioner Milburn, and the second would be John Berry, Commissioner Berry.
Thank you.
And item 2, discussion and input regarding financial reports for September 2020. Have contact again, Carmen Williams.
Thank you again, Chair Bernowski and Commissioners. In your packet is the monthly financial report for September. So in upper right-hand corner, you'll see the revenue and expenses for the year to date. The approved budget for the revenue was just over $1 million, and our actual came in at $1.27 million. As mentioned last month, part of the reason for that variance is due to the FAA CARES grant that we received at the beginning of the year in the amount of $157,000. So we factored that out, and we're pretty close to budget for the year. On the expense side, our budget was $577,000, and the actuals were at $448,000. So we are continue doing a good job in monitoring the budget and watching the expenses each month. For the September comparison to last year, the second table there, we had $382,000 in revenues this year compared to last year's revenues of $328,000. So slightly better this year. As Gary mentioned earlier, the traffic is picking up and the revenues are doing better. On the expenses side, we are slightly lower this year compared to last year. On the left side of the financial report, you'll see the balances for the aviation fund at $7.1 million as of September 30th. In the middle of the report, you'll see the accounts receivable and aging report. So as of October the 5th, those are the balances, and those cover all of our lease accounts, our tie-down accounts, active permits, direct accounts that are invoiced. You'll see on some of those future months, or actually timelines, you'll see a negative number, and that just means someone has paid several months, which happens a lot. Some tenants of ours. And the bottom half of the report is the fuel stats here. The September fuel revenues are up quite a bit over last year, which reflects the activity that continues to pick up for our fixed-base operators. The September comparison to last year shows jet revenues are up 60.9%, avgas is up 23.1%, and the air park fuel is up 43.6% over last September. As I mentioned last month, we did increase the fuel flowage on July 1st, so that's 2 cents. So it made a difference. And then you can see the number of gallons that were pumped compared to last year, difference about 139,000 gallons. And then for the fiscal year to date, the jet fuels are up 52%, avgas is up 28%, and air park is up 21.9% for the revenue. And then the actual gallons pumped are about 2.24 million, which is just under 12% increase over last year. So it's really good in this first quarter. We also continue to see the U.S. Customs activity increase quite a bit. And Chris will really cover that in the operations report, but we are starting to enter the cooler months, so that activity is going to continue to get better. And we went back to 2 full-time officers on October the 1st, 7 days a week coverage. So we definitely need the new officers. And that covers the report. Any questions?
One question, the expenses went down like 22% this year. That's significant, yes.
Yeah, there's a couple reasons why the expenses have gone down. We had budgeted for some higher ticket items that we're kind of holding off on a little bit. Examples like the marketing items, we're going to do a whole new purchase of marketing booth items. We're kind of holding off on that a little bit until we know the future of the trade shows.
Sure. Any other questions for Carmen? No. Okay, next item is discussion and input regarding the construction report. Chris Reed. So, Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'll play Chris Reed tonight on all his reports. Today is the monthly airport construction report. The first item is what we just talked about a little bit ago, the North GA Box Hangar Phase 1 project. We're about 70% complete, and they're moving very swiftly. There's a lot of activity going on. A lot of the interior work, restrooms, finalizing the low voltage cabling and such. We are, as you can see in this picture right here, you can see the mezzanine in one of the hangars being built and installed, so we're excited about that. And the next page, you'll see that is actually the hangar door. There's no obviously louvers on it yet, but that's the hangar door. They're all in, all operational. That was a big feat because they prefabbed them in, I believe, North Dakota, brought them here and rolled the dice, and everything worked out really good. So pretty exciting about that. That was a big hurdle. Next picture, you can see the door actually opened as it's tested, so we're pretty excited about that. On the next page, we have 3 projects that are upcoming, as we talked about a little bit last month. Obviously, the big one is our rehabilitation of our runway. We're in the pre-construction phase. We're pretty much rocking and rolling. We're going to see 60% plans in December. We submitted our 30% plans for the FAA, as you know, to the FAA and the state. They have no major issues, just minor comments. The FAA is very interested in our public outreach, as Commissioner McDermott can understand, working in the industry, about the impacts of the airport. So Sarah's going to talk a lot about our outreach again. We talked a little bit about it, but they are very interested on that as much as the construction. So pretty excited, so moving along. We are still anticipating getting the funding for the runway grant in July, if not sooner. I'm very pleased to report, after much discussion and negotiations with the FAA, I was informed by the Airports Division Office Manager of Phoenix from the FAA that runs Arizona, Nevada, and basically they took our project to the region, which is Arizona, Nevada, California, Guam, Hawaii, and we are the #1 project in the entire region to get funding. First on the list is and hopefully Congress appropriates the funds, #1 on the list of all airports. So they recognize how important Scottsdale is.
I was going to say, how do they rank it? How do they put you at the top of the list? Is there a ranking system? Is there a...
Commissioner Little,
sorry.
they rank it by a lot of things. There is a ranking system among airports, size and all of that, but they quite frankly champion this project for us. We're a general aviation airport, so we don't get the highest ranking as a Sky Harbor, LAX, or McCarran. So they really understood the need, they understood the impacts of the airport, the community, and the users. So we've been talking about this since I got back here 10 years ago, and we finally at that point. So we're very excited about that. They're anticipating a May issuance of a grant again, as long as all goes well. So we're right on schedule. Things are looking good. Again, starting in July, getting done no later than mid-August. Full course press will be shutting down the entire airfield.
Were we competing with an LAX or?
Funding for us is considered discretionary, Mr. Chair. So yes, we compete with everybody with money. And for example, a commercial service airport, depending on the size, they get a thing called entitlements per federal law. That's guaranteed money as long as they appropriate it. And depending on what size, you can get millions of dollars. So we never get a very small entitlement, under $50,000 a year, which can't do much. So most of the money that we get from the FAA is discretionary. And I think I shared this before. This is the largest grant the city of Scottsdale has ever received in history. We get about $2-3 million a year. If we're lucky, we get about $4 million once. This is $12 million. So super excited about it. Great team to work with. We're very excited with our contractor, Vanity Construction. We're just going to think it's going to be a very successful project.
Good news.
Joe.
Thank you. The next item is the North GA Box Hangar Project Phase 2. Council awarded that. We will, working on contract awards phase right now and getting signatures, and we're anticipating beginning or middle of December start time for the Phase 2 project. Any questions on the construction report?
Quick question. The fire suppression systems in the box hangars, they have the same foam system that's in the Gemini? No.
Commissioner Little, no. It's just sprinkled because of the type of use that's in the
Got it.
bank.
Next is discussion report regarding monthly operations report.
I will do that again for Mr. Reed. So this is the operational report for October. Obviously, you'll see the base aircraft comparison from last year, which is certainly up. Aircraft, particularly jet aircraft. Operations, as you can see as well, in comparison to October, is up slightly. And really impressive is our IFR total, which is the instrument freight rules, which we base that off of corporate aviation, is up quite a bit over last year. So it's just amazing what's happening at this airport in this particular time. So very excited about that. You can see, I think Chris mentioned this last month, is that overall, year-to-date, we're catching up on our IFR issues. Our jets are only down 2% when we got the major impact from COVID at the beginning in March, April, May. Things are good there. We had one minor alert, several incidents that were nothing super major. Scroll down to enforcement. We had a challenge with one particular operator that refused to get a permit for flight training. This operator is no longer operating here, so they went somewhere else, we're not sure where, so we had multiple violations that we were addressing with the attorney's office with regards to it. He's no longer here. I'll move down to U.S. Customs. You can see our revenue for this month, $74,000. We had 126 total operations, which is higher than last year. Again, unbelievable what's going on. And our revenue is up over last year too. And you can see we're about 10 over last year overall. So we're doing great. It's very happy. And then our prior permission requests for operations over 75,000 pounds up to 100,000 pounds is 35 for this year's calendar year.
Do we benchmark against other airports that look like us?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Meyer, not necessarily, because the additive is you see one airport, you see one airport. It's really hard to compare a Van Nuys or an Aspen because of just for our location. We would probably argue that the closest airport that we would compare to, believe it or not, is Naples, Florida, because they have a tourism type season. As a matter of fact, if you ever look at Naples, Florida, it looks just like Scottsdale, even the runway.
It's Scottsdale with humidity.
Scottsdale with humidity and a lot more green too.
Yeah.
But we're definitely doing much better than they are on the East Coast. I talked to them quite a bit in a overall community group, and we're definitely doing much better than they are. East Coast is just getting destroyed. Any questions?
Move on to item 5, discussion regarding public outreach programs and planning projects. Contact Sarah.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. Just have a brief update on some of the marketing, planning, outreach programs that we're doing at Scottsdale Airport for this month. As you know, as part of our noise abatement program, we track noise complaints, and as part of that, any complaints that we receive between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., if we connect the complaint to a flight, we send out a voluntary curfew letter, and so keep track of those, and I will update you at each commission meeting. For October, we had 2 voluntary curfew letters, which is actually pretty good for the month, so I'm happy to say that. Despite
John Soul's
Not me.
Because John Soul's airplane.
I stole my airplane. Can't cite me anymore.
Thank you very much, but it's a low number for us.
So has still been quiet now?
You know, I've got to say, it's actually, aside from maybe a couple active complaints, it's been pretty mellow.
It's been better this year.
So, yeah, I mean, just even with some of the other communities that we've heard a lot from, it's tapered down. I don't know if that's because of other factors going on as well, but as far as what we're taking in, it's actually kind of lessened a bit. So.
Do we feel that the flight training activity has tapered off a little bit now because it's so busy with the business jet traffic that those guys are not around here in the pattern so much?
You know, that's a good question. I mean, if I had to hang my hat on deciding about that from noise complaints, I would say something's definitely changed. I haven't compared to operations. I don't know if we've looked at that directly.
I have not. No, Commissioner Little, we haven't really correlated that.
I might try to take a look and see if I can draw any conclusions to that. It was kind of a surprising nice month, aside from a couple activities. Aside from that, we do monitor property development. I will say in passing that, yes, there's a lot of planning and development happening, whether it's questions about what they can do on properties, whether it's the air park or on airport or through the fence access. So we'll see how many come to fruition. At this point, there were 4 projects that were listed in the airport influence area for October, but I can just tell you that, yes, my phone is ringing and we're getting a lot of questions and inquiries from different people, so we'll see where that all goes.
Does the Saxon project seem to make noise in the community?
That went to council last week ago or last week, so and so that's like on the edge of our airport influence area by Stonebrook there, and I think they got to go ahead from what I understand. So I didn't hear any complaints from our end of it. social media fronts and listservs, continuing to send out listservs as needed. We have runway closures for some, finish up work on some of our projects, so we make sure we send out listservs. Hopefully our new two commissioners have been able to subscribe to that too, just to kind of stay in the loop.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful, I'm glad you're on there. We're working to send out another notice soon on just kind of the progress that Jet Aviation is making as the FBO, with them opening, and kind of share some photos as well, so that should be coming in the next few days. And certainly we'll be utilizing that very much, so when the runway, I'm gonna say that a lot of meetings, they're gonna have to get that down, runway rehab project continues, so we'll be sending a lot of listers out for that. And actually on the last one we sent on the rehab project, we got some inquiries, which is good, because I think people are getting early notification. I got like 3 inquiries, and those were all tenants, who's asking like, what's the project about, what are we supposed to do? So that's what we want to encourage, is that everybody knows about it, and we don't hear later on that they didn't hear about this big project. So we're starting early, and you'll see that kind of continuing on social media funds and listserv. And then just to round it out, I mentioned that we had a presentation on October 30th with Jim Keeley of Colliers International. Well, give a fantastic presentation about the airport area. I kind of did the airport side of that, so we did a forum, and there was only about 30 people on it, but it was a Zoom conference, so another chance to share what we do here. So if you have any other questions, that rounds it up for me.
Any questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And, number 6 is Secretary Report from Mascaro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. As we talked about last month, these are the reports that just keep you up to date on what's going on aviation-related items. That'll be just Planning Commission, Design Review, or City Council. You will see that several items really have not much changed since the last time. We'll go with the Airport Advisory Commission items. The 2 items that you recommended for approval did get approved. So we're all good to go on those 2 items with the box hangar agreements and the contract award for phase 2 on consent. I also want to take this time to slightly brag about the airport. You'll probably be seeing a press release here in the next day or 2. I was just curious about all of the business activity, more importantly, the construction activity at this airport over the past 3 years and upcoming 2021. So I ran some very general numbers, knowing of what activity, particularly on airport and off airport, aviation-related use, so hangar development. And the number astounded me. We have about, I think it is $92 million worth of construction from 3 years ago up through 2021. That has happened here on this airport or the airport. That is significant, and there's more coming. There's more coming, as Sarah said. So we're going to kind of brag a little bit about that. I think that's important to remind everybody how powerful the airport is with an economic impact for the community, as well as the users, and I just want to showcase that a little bit. So we're working with that. And Sarah will have a press release launched here, hopefully by the end of the week.
So that $92 million is by companies on the airport building?
Mr. Chair, that's the city-owned, because we did $28 million here. We're doing $16 million down there for the box hangars, plus private entities doing work, such as Ross Aviation and their hangar development. They're planning on building Jet Aviation Phase 1. Jet Aviation Phase 2 is forthcoming. Believe it or not, folks who have been here, if you recall, when we approved the Jet Aviation lease agreement, I put some pretty strict milestones on pieces of land that they control. Say, if you don't develop it by a certain period of time, which I think goes to your point, then Gary gets to take it back, and I'll build another Gemini. So now they're like, oh my God, we got to go phase 2. So they're already in conceptual design of phase 2, which is on the south end. Then we have private hangars that were built. We have one that's out there that's being completed. We have another potential one, which I didn't count for, and then one out at gate 2, which is at the south end. So it's just a lot of activity percolating on the surface. So we're really, really excited.
It'll be interesting to do another tax day discussion. That will raise our visibility and value more.
Yes.
Good job, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Let's see, where are we? Discussion possible action to modify the advisory commission meeting schedule.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the staff respectfully requests that we cancel the December meeting if we don't have really many items to share.
All in favor?
On action of you fine individuals.
Any discussion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? There we go.
So the motion was made by Commissioner Meyer and seconded by Vice Chair Barry, and then move to account.
Yes. Commission Chair Larry Bernofsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Corey Little,
Yes.
Commissioner Charles McDermott,
Yes.
and Commissioner Rick Milburn.
Yes.
6-0.
No. So our next meeting will be like
January 20th.
That's something gonna happen. Okay, anything else, any other comments, questions, input?
If we are going to meet like this, is there any possibility of getting some kind of audio help?
Well, we have the mic.
I may be the only guy down here that can,
Can we just
that's
have
gonna
the
work
mic?
hard to hear.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Meyer, the reason why we usually have mic and speakers, but we were told that it would result in feedback from the Zoom. So that's the problem. What we can do is adjust the chairs a little bit, bring it closer as much as we can with the social distancing. Because they tested it, I guess, before, is my understanding, there was some feedback. That's the problem.
Understood.
We usually have little mics. The mics work well.
They do typically. Hopefully, this is gonna end soon and we go back to real normalcy and.
So moved. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments?
No, I move we adjourn.
Second?
The move was made by Vice Chair Barry.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
We have to do a formal count, sorry.
We have to do
Chair.
so.
Yeah.
Chair Larry Bernofsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Corey Little,
Yes.
Commissioner Charles McDermott,
Yes.
and Commissioner Rick Milburn.
Yes.
6-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, good job.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Merry
Thanksgiving
Christmas.
to all.
Absolutely. See
I
you
think
next
can
year.
stop recording.
Is anybody there that I could talk to a minute?
Yes, do you want to call me on my line at the office?
That'll be fine. I'll call you in the morning.
Yes, we might still be live. So, Bobette, if you can call in the morning, and I'm going to go ahead and end the recording now. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.